Hi, thanks for watching. It is Sunday the 16th of February 2020. Quite a lot is happening in the week ahead. Couple of things happening today. One has happened already actually. Mars entered Capricorn 6:33 a.m. Eastern Time. So 3 hours before that Pacific, 5 hours after that in UK. So it is actually not far away. It's about 10:30 a.m. in UK. So it hasn't quite happened yet. But Mars in Capricorn is quite a thing. It's very grounding actually. There's a sort of deliberate feeling about things and a desire to persist with things. You know, people are willing to get stuck in, think about the future, think about the consequences of actions, anything like that. Reliable, faithful kind of energy behind things. The moon is in Sagittarius and is staying there until 10:36 UTC, that's UK time, on the 18th of February. So we've got a Saggy influence for the next couple of days. It's a generous type of thing, a Sagittarius moon. It's open, optimistic, and really wide open actually. People start thinking about, traveling, not necessarily physically traveling to places, but the mind travels, particularly in these days of the internet. The mind can travel to places, and we can kind of travel by using our eyes and watching videos and just reading stuff about other places, sharing information, that kind of thing. And outdoor activities are generally favoured by astrology. They're not much favoured by the weather here in UK at the moment, and from what I'm seeing, they're not favoured by the weather in many parts of the world. We've got Storm Dennis going on at the moment, which came in right after Storm Kira. In fact, Storm Kira hadn't fully finished, I don't think. But there we go, one storm after another, crazy. But astrology is looking quite a bit more positive than that at the moment. The moon at the moment is about 44% full as I speak. So we had new moon, that actually came in yesterday. No, we didn't. We had third quarter, that came in yesterday. And not until about 10:30 in the evening. It's been about 12 hours in UK since half moon now. So she is waning quite strongly. The lunar energy is going down. So the overall kind of out there focus is changing. And even though Sagittarius casts our mind out there, the lunar influence is more around the home, the hearth, looking at what gives us strength, what gives us shelter in our own personal lives, and also a focus on what we can do for not just for absolutely everyone out there, but those closest to us, those who are actually friends, family, and maybe work colleagues as well. But it's kind of a close to home feeling, and that is going to stay the case until we get the new moon, and that is next Sunday, the 23rd of February. I will be back many times before then, believe me. Anyway, today, still on the 16th, Sunday the 16th, the moon is trine Venus. So as we go into next week, interactions are positive, spiritual things are positive, public events where people get together are positive too. There's a natural, balanced kind of energy about things, warm feelings, that kind of thing. Let's mention Mercury as well. Right now, Mercury conjunct Neptune, so it's imaginative. People are kind of thinking about the future, and a new kind of vision can come in at this time. There's a lot of insight, and with that, some kind of looking inward stuff as well, going into ourselves. But that's what the third eye is good at, really, looking inward. It doesn't look outward, it looks inward, and it gets these things looking outward. That's the great thing about the third eye. So some people are doing the hermit thing today, and that is no bad thing. It's actually quite a good way of finding closure. So Mars in Capricorn. Mars has entered Capricorn and will be there until March the 30th. So it's quite a long Mars transit this. It's a deliberate, persistent kind of energy. People thinking about the future, people thinking about consequences. Energy is kind of quite reliable. People are quite faithful to each other as well. Generally speaking, it's a time when most people are slow to anger. We're all a bit different in that sense, aren't we? We are the way we are. So, excuse me. God, I should really drink more liquid before I do all this stuff. But yeah, Mars in Capricorn, most definitely a thing today. I can't get this page to change it. Oh, I'm really having trouble with pages today. Dear me. Never mind. Anyway, Mercury Retrograde in Pisces. Now that's 7:54 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. So that is, let me see, 4:54, just 5 minutes to 5 on the Pacific coast of the States and Canada. And much later at night here in UK. Mercury goes retrograde, and Mercury entered Pisces a few days ago, maybe about a week ago actually. Mercury's been in Pisces all that time getting ready for things, and the Sun is going to enter Pisces before too long actually. So things are getting Piscean, and Pisces is actually a very positive, sort of helpful kind of energy. I'm not saying Mercury retrograde is going to support that, because Mercury retrograde doesn't support a whole lot of things actually, but that's going to be February 16th today right through until March the 9th 2020, and then Mercury will be coming out of retrograde in 28 degrees Aquarius, so we'll see a change then. And there is a post shadow after March the 9th, and it goes on for 20 days until March the 9th, March the 29th, 2020, on which day I'm giving an astrology talk somewhere in Pembrokeshire, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But that's the Mercury retrograde thing, you know, it never stops. We get 3 or sometimes 4 of those a year. Only 3 this year actually, so we are blessed in that sense. Okay, let's look forward into next week and see what the general sort of events of things, how things are going, and what next week is going to be looking like. It is all coming towards new moon in terms of the lunar energy, so that's the big thing of the week, if you ask me. But there we go. Now, if you're a Piscean, the Sun is going to be entering your sign on February the 18th. That's Tuesday. The moon actually also is going to be entering Capricorn, 5:37 a.m. Eastern, that's 2:37 a.m. Pacific, and 10:37 a.m. So quite late in the morning in UK, we're going to get that Capricorn moon, and Sun enters Pisces that day as well, so that's going to make quite a difference to things. Let's just see if I can look through my notes. I must get more organised about this kind of thing. Right, Sun in Pisces, February 18th, right the way through until March the 19th. So all that time we're going to be guided by that kind of altruistic willingness to give, willingness to help. The only thing is, you can worry a bit too much about other people and what's going on, you know. We've got to think about our own dream as well as other people's dream. And we've got to realise as well that in terms of dreaming, sometimes it can be a bit of a nightmare, and that's not a bad thing. You know, you wake up from a nightmare, it really seems like a horrible thing that you've been through, but somehow it's kind of okay, you know, once you've been awake for a little while. So there is a definite need to keep things real there. And Thursday the 20th of February, Jupiter sextile Neptune. That's going to be 10:56 a.m. Eastern, so earlier in the morning Pacific, just into the UK afternoon. Jupiter sextile Neptune. Not a great deal I can say about that really. Jupiter and Neptune, they're quite far-flung, and we're going to be just getting used to that Mercury retrograde feeling at that time. There's going to be 3 of those in 2020, and it's a long-term kind of an aspect, you know. It goes on for quite some time, and a lot of idealism, a lot of humanitarian feelings going on with that as well. Making connections to other people, you know, and people from a different background is very kind of supported, and it widens the mind. It goes rather well with the Sagittarius moon that we're going into this next week, thinking about and feeling and generally experiencing. Okay, and the next big event then, let me see, well, let's talk about the moon, of course. The moon is going to enter Aquarius, is it? No, the moon is actually going to enter, the moon is going to enter Aquarius on Thursday, and then it's going to enter Pisces next Saturday, the 22nd. I'm going fast because I like to keep these as short as I can to have a fighting chance of getting them uploaded. We've got crazy weather at the moment. So Aquarius moon at the end of the working week, really, on Thursday, Friday, and then on Saturday, moon enters Pisces. That's going to be 10:37 p.m. In Eastern Standard Time. So, no, I'm sorry, that's on the Pacific coast. 1:37 a.m. Sunday Eastern, so that's 6:37 a.m. next Sunday. I will be back long before then, but that is also the time of the new moon, which is going to be in Pisces, as I was saying, and that's going to be 10:32 a.m. Eastern. So, you know, everything else revolves around that, as often happens with the new moon. It's a real strong influence, a new moon, actually, but we will be feeling Mercury retrograde, so I don't want to overblow that. The early stages of Mercury retrograde really are powerful because we start getting things changed. The most important thing though is not to worry about it and not to let it become a big issue. A great many people worry themselves sick about Mercury retrograde. Sometimes it doesn't get us, really. In fact, it's only sometimes that it does get us. When I think back over the years, there have been quite a few Mercury retrogrades that didn't really touch me. Other times my car's died and I've had loads of trouble with one thing or another. Always around communication, and very often with that travel and transport as well. Educational and legal matters come into view a fair bit with Mercury retrograde as well. That is just the nature of Mercury retrograde. Okay guys, well, I do like to keep these quick, but I will be back again and again, and I've gone into next Sunday a bit, so that's really a full week, but I'll be back probably midweek some point, and most definitely next Friday with a look at the astrology on the weekend ahead. Thanks everyone who watches these. Thanks everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't, please do, and tap that bell so you don't miss anything, because I'm always putting up videos and tarot readings coming up all the time as well. Leave me a comment. We'll share the journey, and it's great to know who I'm doing these readings for. I really want to thank you for watching, guys. It just makes the whole thing worthwhile. There'd be no point doing this if you didn't. Okay, have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you very, very soon.